Welcome to Ivycreates. Today we're going to be doing a New Orleans Voodoo Doll Halloween how-to DIY. This is going to be just some great little voodoo dolls for fun, for Halloween decorations. This is the one I'm showing you right now is one that I currently have that I'd bought when I was downtown last time in New Orleans. I currently only live about 45 minutes from there. I did live there for many years. And in spite of what people think, voodoo dolls are not meant to be evil. They are meant for good for the most part. You can do bad things with them like you can do bad things with everything, but they're meant for good. And for today, though, please have a sense of humor and a sense of peace because we are doing this for fun. And, you know, the little voodoo dolls, they make for excellent party favors for, let's say, if you had an adult party and you wanted to give out party favors. The Dollar Tree had these really awesome little coffins, and that's what gave me the inspiration to do these, was the little coffins. And I thought they were fabulous and be perfect to hold one of our little voodoo dolls. Also, if you decided to, say, have a wedding on Halloween, you can use these as party favors for a wedding, which would be really cool, really awesome, something a little different. So let's get started in making our Halloween voodoo dolls. And I'm just going to be using a lot of different things like scrap felt that I had. I'm going to be using the Jenga blocks or the tumbling tower blocks that you can also get from Dollar Tree as the body. This here is a bead from the Zulu Parade, which is a parade where they actually throw out coconuts. And so I'm going to be using the bead as the head for my voodoo doll. It just is really cute and different, something that I had laying around the house that I can use. So basically I'm using the Jenga block to make a T. So that's going to be the arms and the body of our voodoo doll. And I'm going to make two of them. I'm going to make a male and a female. Now you decorate and do your voodoo dolls however you want them. These are going to be what I consider traditional African colors. I don't know, but I'm just doing them in basic earth tones. You can make it all kinds of pretty. As you can see by the little voodoo doll on the bottom of my screen that I have, is like a hodgepodge of items. So I'm cutting apart the beads so that I can take the head and glue it onto my voodoo doll. Please subscribe, share, click that notification bell, leave me a comment, let me know what you think, and thank you so very much for watching Ivycreates today. So I'm just taking the extra beads that I have and I'm sticking them in a bowl that I had sitting right by. And while I'm putting this together a little bit, I wanted to read to you about the voodoo doll that I have currently. It's got a little pamphlet on the inside of my coffin that says what it's about. So here we go. A voodoo doll is made to represent a person. You can place some of that person's hair or a personal item inside the cloth to capture part of their soul. Usually you see people using the doll to cause harm by sticking it with pins. But the pin colors it has different colors on the pins. The yellow is for success, the white is for positive, the red is for power, purple is for spirituality, green is for money, blue is for love, and black is the only negative one. Simply stick one pin in at a time to the specified ailment. From what I understand from watching the voodoo doll creators and stuff, it's all about your intention with the voodoo doll as to what is going on with it. I can't say whether or not I believe or that you should believe in anything to do with that. These were originally from Africa and part of their religion, part of their one God religion, which, they were also mixed in with Catholic and a lot of other things in New Orleans. So anyways, that's just a little the background of it. We're doing this for fun. We're not worried about any of the religious part. We're just doing this for fun. So a cute little party favor to give out and hand out to people. Now on this particular doll, I tried to use a rubber ball, and also going to use feathers on the top, just like the other Voodoo doll that I have sitting on the bottom of the screen. And I would use the feathers, and this is the bird that they came from. Thank you to Q-Tip for donating generously with her feathers. And she was watching while I was making this, wondering what I was doing with her feathers. So I just put it in the top of the bead, just like the other Voodoo doll. And to give it, and this is just for decoration. Please don't take any meaning into anything that I'm doing. I'm doing it for decoration and to have something a little different in my decor. And the cost of this total is about $2 to $3. So it's something that you can make, you can share, and have fun with, and joke around with. So I'm gluing the feathers into the top of the bead on my doll, as you can see. And I was playing around with this rubber ball and it just would not stick. I did try it twice to get it to stick. And you'll see in a little bit later I end up putting a bead on it because the ball just would not stick. I think it would work fine if I had like some E6000 to put on it, but I don't have the patience for that. Or I could stick a pin in the ball and stick a pin in whatever body I'm putting it on. The Voodoo doll that I'm modeling this after was actually made of like skewers, little tiny skewers, so it's smaller than what I'm using. So you can see here I'm trying to pick out a bead for my doll to finish her out on that one, because that's going to be my female doll. And the Zulu warrior head is on the other Voodoo doll, which is really cool. I've not ever actually been to a Zulu parade. Every time that I've gotten ready to go, something's happened, something crazy, and I just wasn't able to make it. So now I'm going to take some cotton balls out, and that's going to be the body of our Voodoo doll. And this is where you would normally stick pins into it and things like that. So I'm just going to glue that to the front of my Jenga blocks. I hope you're enjoying this project. I have many more projects for all the different holidays, and I will have a lot more coming. So, let me know what you think about this. I know it might be a little bit controversial, but, we're not going to tell anybody. It's just for fun. So, here I'm putting some of my scrap felt onto my doll, and this is just some that I had left over. Please subscribe and share and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of our future videos. But I'm just gluing on my felt to my Voodoo doll, and I'm going to wrap it around a couple of times and to make it fit just as an outfit for my doll. Yes, we do have some parades down here. We even have an Irish-Italian parade that's on St. Patrick's Day, where they actually throw cabbages, and they have to do it underhanded by law because they're afraid of the cabbages hurting people. Now, when I rode in that parade in Metairie, I had onions and potatoes, and you get a whole thing of groceries from this parade. And people would actually be out there with baseball gloves, and you could hurl them across, the way to whoever was waiting on them with a baseball glove. And that was the most fun I think I've ever had. It was absolutely a ball. So I'm just wrapping this and gluing it until I feel comfortable with how it looks. I had to get the little silicone tip that I had bought from Dollar Tree and put it on my finger because I am constantly burning myself. So one day I hope that I'll actually remember to do that before I start my project so I won't get burned. I keep aloe vera plants everywhere in my house. So I hope you're really enjoying this project. So I cut off the bottom even so that it will look nice and clean and neat and all that good stuff. You could do whatever you wanted to. If you want to leave it long, it's your doll. You do what you want to do with it. And now I'm taking the end of my paintbrush, which I usually sharpen with a pencil sharpener. I know that sounds crazy, but I use it to poke things like this. So I like a nice sharp edge on the end of it. So I'm using it to poke the cotton down underneath the felt so it doesn't show. So now I'm just looking for more embellishments to go on the doll. This is is kind of a thick felt. It's more of a hard felt, and it's got a little sparkle to it. You don't have to put that anything like that. You do whatever you want to do. And you know, these are voodoo dolls, but they could just as easily become angels if you change the head type. Of course, you can't have a Zulu head on an angel, but change the head and add some wings, and bam, you've got an angel. So I'm equal opportunity there on my voodoo dolls and my angels. I'm just holding it down to finish gluing. So I was watching a little lady that was making the voodoo dolls, and I was watching her on YouTube, and she was making them actually out of Play-Doh. And she said, well, it's not about, you know, what you make it with or anything like that. And she said the Play-Doh was cheaper than using the clay, and it worked just as well, which I never even thought about using Play-Doh ever. And so she was actually talking about, you know, well, when you make it and you're sculpting it, because she makes hers out of clay or Play-Doh or what have you, and I think you can make them out of just about anything. But she said when you're making it, it's about the intent and whatever your intent is. And remember, if you do bad things happen to you. So you never want to do bad things. That's why you're supposed to use your dolly for good. And like I said, I don't really know that I believe in any of those things. I'm not a religious person of any kind, and voodoo is a religion. But, you know, just still, always be cautious and careful of what you're doing and what you're putting out into the world. So I'm just finishing gluing up the belt on my little doll. And I gotta say, I really love the way these came out. They were so cute. I did not expect them to come out as well as they did. So I'll be using them and gifting them to someone for Halloween. And they would be also really great in trick-or-treats, but you couldn't put pins in them because you don't want to have children having straight pins. But for adults, it would be awesome. And I will tell you, I trick-or-treated until I was 20-something, because we would go and trick-or-treat our friends' houses and trick-or-treat for beer. But that was many, many years ago, and I was a wild child, so that's the way it goes. So you can see the doll that I'm modeling after I just picked up. And they actually used just some fabric, some cotton, and I think some elastic bands around the body to hold it all together. Whereas I'm just using a glue gun, it's a whole lot easier. And I may go and search my Mardi Gras stores at a later date to see if I can find some more beads like this Zulu bead that I have. So I can make a few more for fun gifts. So here's where I got frustrated with that silly ball, and it wouldn't stay on, so I pulled the glue off of the Jenga block, and I went ahead and used a bead as a head. In the final picture, stay tuned for the final pictures, because that shows you everything that's completed. And in the final picture, I actually did end up painting one of the little coffins with some chalk country summer wheat, and then just kind of did some little designs on the top in the barn rustic red, which is the, what is that? That's Dixie Belle rustic red. And I also, you'll see in a few minutes that I paint the insides of the coffins, just because Dracula was sitting in there and it was really bugging me, so I had to paint over it. But the final product picture looks really great, and it also demonstrates the skulls that I had done that I also picked up from the Dollar Tree. I don't do everything from the Dollar Tree, but when I can, I do it up. Because, I mean, you just can't beat the prices on that stuff. And decorating your home should not have to cost you a fortune, and gifts shouldn't have to cost you a fortune either. So now I'm adding the cotton to my little female doll. I've added the feathers in the top of the bead, and I'm just going to glue down the front of her and add some cotton. And this is just to make it to where you can actually stick a pin in it if you wanted to. I think I'm going to be sticking lots of green pins for money. Bring me good fortune with some yellow and green. I believe it. Yeah, yellow's success and green is money. So yes, I need good fortune. So now I'm just cutting my felt piece around the neck of my doll so where it'll fit easier. And I'm taking 2 pieces of felt and I'm just basically gluing them to the front and the back of the doll and fitting it as I go. So I'm cutting little spots where it will wrap around and fit. So just making her an outfit. So please subscribe and share, and thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I can't tell you enough. Visit my website, Ivycreates.com, and check me out on Facebook at Deanna AC. I am Deanna Carroll, and I do Ivycreates, and with my daughter Ivy. So we like to make great new projects for you, help you find your gifts, and work together to make your house look wonderful. So now I've got the top just around the neck and over the shoulders. So I'm cutting the bottom underneath the arms at an angle so that I can put some underneath the arms, glue it up, and then glue it around the sides of my doll. You can see I press it up right there under the arm and then press it over to the side, which didn't quite meet in the back, so I had to go back and add a little bit more glue. Just hold it for a second to make sure that it's all nice and glued down and doesn't go anywhere. If there's any projects that you would like to see me make that perhaps you don't know how to make, I have a wide variety of skills, and I would be happy to show you how to make just about anything. I am a florist by trade currently. I've done a little bit of everything though under the sun, and I can do wreaths, I can do flowers, I can do crafts, I can make, I can build, whatever you want. So please leave me a comment and let me know what you think about our little project we're doing. And if there's anything that you would like to see done that you're like, wow, I'm really stuck on this, but I would love to see it done, you can put a picture and a description, and we'll see if we can make it for you and show you how to do it as well. I love educating people on how to make things. Many times people think that they can't do something, a craft or something, and can't was just never in my vocabulary when I was growing up. I was determined always, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do whatever it is, and I'm going to be the best at it. So, you know, I would love to teach you the same, and hope that we can move forward and get more creative. So now I'm just wrapping another piece around the bottom to finish her off. And this is all just, like I said, felt scraps. You could use all one piece and cut your own little pattern if you wanted. Glue guns are great for sewing because I don't sew. Please like and share and click that notification bell and subscribe to us so that you can see our videos every week. And remember, this is all on how you want to decorate it. You don't have to do anything that I'm doing. You can just watch what I'm doing if you want to. But feel free to decorate yours in any way, shape, or form, however you want it. And you can see me drop things. When you see me drop things while I'm gluing, it's usually because it burned the tar out of me and I'm going to have a nasty blister. So remember to wear your little finger pieces when you're using your glue gun. And you can get those at the Dollar Tree, which is really, really awesome. For years, I mean, I grew up in a flower shop, and I've been doing flowers since I was 10 years old. And we actually got paid 5 cents per bow when we were doing them. But I can tell you what, I've always used glue gun. I've always gotten burned all these years. And I can't believe we didn't have these little silicone fingertips before now. So the next song that will be playing in the background is called Deep Down, and it's one from YouTube, one of their, free source songs, and it's a blues song, and I love blues songs, so it might be a little bit louder, so fair warning, you might need to turn your volume down a bit because I did leave it a little bit louder because I like it so much. So now I'm just taking my jute twine, and I am putting the jute twine as a bow and tying it around the waist of my doll. I love jute twine, especially for making like a messy bow or something. You don't have to do a whole lot. Not a whole lot is required. If you can tie your tennis shoes, you can tie a bow on anything. And there are so many different ways you can do it. And I also added some of the beads from the necklace onto the front across the chest. The Voodoo doll that I have sitting up here, I have a little shield on, and that's just it's part of a bracelet, and I just like the way it looks, so that's why I added it. It has no special meaning, it's just the look of it is what I'm going for. Remember, these are great party favors. I hope you enjoyed this DIY how-to New Orleans Voodoo doll for Halloween, and I hope that you use it and try it out. Y'all gotta have a sense of humor around me because I'll do anything to scare the neighbors. I swear. I'll do anything to scare the neighbors. If y'all have ever seen any of my videos on Facebook, I have some interesting neighbors, and I live out in the country. Like, I have to drive to go to their house. And they sound like they're in my front yard. So I'll do anything to make them think, it's always a good thing if your neighbors think you're a little crazy, because that way they leave you alone. And that's just the way I like it. So here's my little voodoo doll. And that's the first one. And you can see this is the example that I used of the coffin that I made, that I didn't make, I purchased. And this is the sample voodoo doll that I had that came with it. And so that's the one I made right next to it. And he's got a Zulu head with his feathers and some little decorations. So now I'm going to finish making up the second little doll that I have. I'll put him back in his coffin. So this is going to be my girl. And I was just kind of playing around to see what embellishments I might want to put on her. And I decided she just needed some buttons on the front of her dress. And some hair, which I made out of jute twine. Now you could use these for Halloween ornaments for your Halloween tree. Several people around here, and there used to be on St. Charles in New Orleans, there was a house that had a glassed-in front porch, and they kept their tree up all year. And that's just something we tend to do here in the South. We have Christmas lights up all year. And so anyways, they kept their tree up all year, and they would decorate it for every season. And I just would drive by, and it was just the most beautiful thing, because they did things like little sailboats for summer, you know, all over the tree, or they would do with Halloween decorations and Easter and Christmas and Mardi Gras and all of that. So you know, do stay tuned for the final pictures, and I do thank you for watching. So if you want to, you can always add a little hanger to the back of your voodoo dolly, and you can use it on a Halloween tree. Now what I did was I took the jute twine and I looped it real loosely around my fingers, and then I slid it off and tied a knot of a piece of ribbon around it. So now I'm just going to glue it to the head of my dolly. So I want her to have hair. And I'm going to wrap it around towards the back. And I added a little bit more glue to that and pulled her hair around to the back. After I cut it, you'll see in just a second, I'll cut it up. And so that way she actually has hair. My glue gun is getting extra hot these days, and I think it's probably about time for a new one, because they seem to start getting really hot after a while, and it burns me every time I look at it. So you can see now I'm just wrapping the jute twine around the back, making sure I've got it all in place where I want it. And we'll take it and give it a good cut, because it was in loops, remember? So I just want to cut it to where all the hair is loose, and then I'll glue it down a little bit more and tie it up. There I'm just trimming the rest of her hair in the back, so it's nice and neat. You could have wild hair, doesn't matter. If you're a doll, you do your thing. But this is what she came out with. And I thought she was very cute, along with my Zulu head doll is very cute too. So the next thing I'm going to do is pull out the coffins for them. And like I said earlier, I noticed, you know, you can see how they fit into their little coffin. And the color red on the inside, these are really cute coffins, but the color red on the inside is awesome. But then they had, you know, the spooky supposed Dracula, and he doesn't look so great. He just looked kind of strange in there. So that's when I decided to take my Dixie Belle Rustic Red chalk mineral paint and paint over the vampires that are inside of the coffins. And they're made of cardboard and really just super cute. I thought they were precious. Please stay tuned to the end and see the final product pictures, because those are always the best. And you get to see everything that was made and how it was done, and it looks really cute. So this is the Dixie Belle paint. And the best thing about this paint is it sticks to almost anything. And if you don't get it to stick, they also have another product that's called, I think, Slick Stick. And it'll stick to that too. So, you know, this stuff sticks to everything and it dries super, super fast. I would love to know what you would like me to make next. Please leave a comment. Tell me what you thought of this project, and let me know maybe what you might be interested in next and what holiday you would like me to do a project for, or what occasion. I can do occasion projects, lots and lots of different things. Just, you know, leave me a comment down below and let me know. So I'm just painting the inside of these coffins and up the walls of the inside so that it all is matching. And making sure that it's covered. All the Dracula part is all covered. Y'all, I abuse my brushes, so, you know, that's just the way it is. I'm sorry, but I abuse the heck out of my brushes. So now I noticed when I was trying to open my Dixie Belle that it was really stuck to the lid, and you get a lot of that, you know, in paint when you're opening and closing it a lot. So I'm taking some Vaseline and I'm putting around the edge of the paint jar so that when I open and close it'll be easier and it won't stick so much. I do that from time to time on my different paints to make sure that the lids don't get stuck on. So I'm just going to use my heat gun and I'm going to dry it up, and that's another reason for using like the chalk paint or the mineral paint or even a clay base, because the acrylic paint, I love my acrylic paints. However, if you heat them up too much, and this particular gun, it gets really hot, and it doesn't have but 2 different temperatures, unfortunately. But if you heat them up too much on acrylic paint, it bubbles, and that can be good for some things as far as projects go. If you want that to happen, that's fantastic. But if you don't, then it's best to use chalk or mineral paint so that it won't bubble. So you can see now the difference in color between the bottoms and the tops of the coffins on the inside. So I'm just going to go back and do the tops of the coffins and paint those up for you. This also, again, gives it that real customized look. And, you know, above and beyond all things, we want our homes to look customized and our gifts to be customized. We don't want them to look completely store-bought. We want them to have that quality, but not look completely store-bought. So now I just painted the tops to match. And like I said, I did go back after all of this when I was doing my final pictures. You'll see I did paint the outside of one of the coffins with the Chalk Country matte chalk finish, and it was called Summer Wheat. And then I added some little decorations to the top of the coffin, and it came out super, super cute. You know, leaving it how it was when I bought it in the store was fine, but it just looks so much better once I was painting it. You can see this is what the store-bought outside of the little coffin looks like. And these are just cardboard. You could make them fancier if you wanted to. I thought they were just fine for what purpose they were serving. And nothing fancy, just your basic cardboard box. So now my voodoo dolls can go into their own respective coffins. Thank you so much for watching, and if you'll stick around for just a few more seconds, you'll get to see the final pictures. And I've read to you the little pamphlet that was already in the voodoo doll box that I had, the coffin that I had bought from the Voodoo store in New Orleans. Yes, there is such a thing. So this is what I actually copied it from. So I'm just borrowing a couple of pins out of the top until I get some more. And I'm going to put a pin in each of my little dollies. And I put the green pins for money and success. Of course, these dolls are not attached to anything because they don't have someone's personalized stuff on them. I guess that's what they would say. And these are going to be fantastic little party favors. You imagine a bunch of these like as table settings for a party or a wedding or something. They could be place settings or place setting holders. And you could individualize them to look sort of like the people that were sitting there. That would be super, super cute too. So this is the final thing, and let me get the pictures out for you. Look here. These are the pictures. Thank you very much for watching. Hi, did you click that subscribe button and the notification bell? Well, if you don't hit that notification bell, you will miss out on our Thursday videos. So please go ahead, click it, and you'll be able to watch our videos that are coming up.